Hello and welcome to coverage of the TCGPlayer Max Point Invitational. I'm Marshall Sutcliffe in the booth with Frank Lepore.
Oh, I'm excited because Eric's playing a Mardu deck. We haven't seen Mardu all
Yeah, he's playing Mardu Dragons. This is Ben Stark's deck.
Oh, I like a good Ben Stark deck.
Yeah. So these players are both at 4 and 2, so they haven't had the best day so far, but a good one.
Oh, it's got some Vendilion Click sleeves.
Yeah, those are from the GP in Vegas. So, yeah, we've got Eric Froelich versus Owen Turnwell. I don't really know what else to say about it other than that. These are two of the best players in the world. In fact, I think in a lot of people's estimation, these are the top 2 players in the world right now.
It's very close, if they're not the top 2.
Yeah.
The other thing is, like, Eric Froelich is almost a lock for Hall of Fame this year, I would imagine. He came very close last year, and he's had some finishes since then that just put him over the top, I would say.
Yeah, he's in a very good position as far as Hall of Fame goes, no doubt about it. That 4th Pro Tour top 8 really put him on the radar. He had his top 16 in there as well. Also, he seems to have, really made an effort on the community contributions end of things as well. I'm doing a podcast with him.
Yeah.
You know, a few years ago, this wasn't the kind of stuff that we saw him doing very often.
I agree.
So, yeah.
I think he's definitely coming to his own recently,
I think so too.
Got to give him credit for where credit's due.
And Owen Turnwell, on the other hand, so Eric's currently ranked first in the world on the top 25 pro rankings, and Owen was forever. He was up there for a really long time. So again, really 2 of the best technical players in the game, and we get to see them. And
you can even tell by how quickly they're playing. Like, they know exactly what they're doing. Their responses, they have their responses planned out turns in advance, and then they're able to adjust those plans depending on what the opponent does on the fly. Like, it's just you can definitely get an idea of how proficient these players are just by how quickly they're making their plays. Like, they're not dawdling, they're not stalling, they're not like hanging around. You know, crack this, hold on a second, let me think about it. It's just like very smooth. Like the beta basic lands and the old school fetches for both players. Well, Owen has this fairly ugly forest, I'll be honest with you. I'm not a fan. But he does have an old school windswept heath, so it kind of breaks even.
Yeah, he let us down a little on the forest, but I have to say that Eric's choices for beta basics, those are the exact ones I use.
Those are classy.
No, I mean, those are the same artwork, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I knew what you meant, buddy.
A class act the whole way.
That's the mountain? Is that the same mountain that was printed in Arabian Nights?
That is the same mountain, yep. It's a lot more faded in the Arabian Nights printing. It looks...
Those are hard to come by.
Almost yellowish. I own one of those.
And Patrick Sullivan owns the rest.
He does. He was my inspiration for getting the one I do.
Yeah, it's just cool to own one, you know?
Yeah, it is. All right, so Foul Tongue Invocation, no reveal, I believe. Could be wrong about that. Oh, did he reveal a Thunderbreak Regent? Okay, Thunderbreak Regent was what he revealed. Gain the 4 life, get rid of your Death Mist Raptor. Follow up Siege Rhino from Owen Turnwell. That's going to get Crackling Dooms.
Yeah, Eric was at 15 from 2 fetches and 1 Death Mist Raptor hit. So gaining 4 put him up to 19. Should be back down to 16, I imagine, from the other Siege Rhino there, right? And down to 13, I would imagine.
Yeah, well.
2 Siege Rhinos.
16. And there's another Crackling Doom, so Owen Turnwell can't seem to keep his life total buoyed even through the double Siege Rhino there.
Just want to make sure Eric's life total is correct. I feel like it should be a little low. Maybe he didn't take a hit from the Death Mist Raptor? Okay, that might be the case then. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
All right, so things have progressed in a pretty, let's say, a pretty normal way so far. Threat answered, threat answered, threat answered.
Yeah, it's basically very bad. Like this is probably the most back and forth you could have. Oh, if that's a Den Protector, that's a very good play. It gets back a Death Mist Raptor, and he gets back a Siege Rhino.
Yeah, it feels like it is a Den Protector.
It's like a 3 for 1. Marshall, do you understand how good that is?
Yes, I do.
Brutzo toots.
I'm no stranger. And there it is, Thunderbreak Regent.
That guy's good too.
Yeah, he's also got Draconic Roar in hand.
That's also
now,
good.
Owen does not turn up.
Turn up for what?
the face down card there. That's really interesting, right?
Oh, maybe it's not.
It must be a Death Mist Raptor. It's the only thing I can think now.
Oh, it's the world's greatest troll.
It just must be.
It can't be. You don't run your Den Protector into your Thunderbreak unless he's next leveling.
I don't know why he would though. It would have been more mana efficient. He would have got the Death Mist Raptor back.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah. It is. He was trying to bait Eric
into killing it.
Well, it's funny because there's no way Eric's falling for it, but Eric actually had a Draconic Roar in hand. He could have killed it.
Yeah.
He just assumed it was a Den Protector, and now all of a sudden Owen's gotten a lot of extra value out of this. He's in fact brought his Death Mist Raptor back face down as well. All right, this has been a cool one already. So Raptor hits the bin. He does take 4. And there's a Rabble Master, so this is an attack for 5 here. And if you add up the extra damage from the Roar and the 2 Crackling Dooms plus this attack step, Eric has turned the corner pretty sharply on Owen here.
Yeah,
even with his tricky play there, he's going to get thumped down pretty hard.
It's one of the things the Martyrs deck does very well. It's just it has all this incremental damage that it deals you, like from targeting Thunderbreak Regent or from 1/1 tokens from Goblin Rabble Master.
Yeah.
Draconic Roar and Crackling Doom both deal damage. Like it's just it has all these added life gaining and dealing abilities. Like even Felting Invocation has the bonus of 4 life. Like there's just like these little bonuses tacked on all the cards. Seeker of the Way gains lifelink. Yeah.
All right, so now it's back on Owen to figure out how he wants to maneuver. This has been a really cool game just in the early stages. Thoughtseize.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
And Ephro says, "Gotcha, kiddo. Take 2 more."
It's always Thoughtseizing when they just have land is so bittersweet because on one hand you didn't hit anything, on the other they don't have anything.
Right.
Yeah, just got to get in there with that guy.
Well, it's a 3-turn clock.
Well, I'll go to 8.
And this is going to be Elspeth.
Oh, that's...
Who awkwardly sits at 5 for Ephro.
Rashad, soldier tokens denied.
Yeah, looks like Owen brought his own. Rashad's playing it cool.
He's like, NBD, man. That's cool. My soldiers are suggested use only. I'll never force another man to use my soldier tokens if they don't want to. So definitely got some decisions to make here.
Who's Stormbreath Dragon?
I think Eric was just trying to figure out if he could do anything this time.
I mean, he can certainly put a lot of heat down. It's just the question is, does he want to hit Elspeth?
Interesting. Yeah, that makes sense. It prevents him from having to, or prevents Owen from being able to -3 Elspeth, which is huge when you have 2 4/4 dragons in play. And if Owen wants to kill these guys, he's gonna pay the iron price.
It also should set up the kill next turn. Let's see, he hits him for 4 down to 7.
And he's got 2 4/4s. And if he kills one, then he goes down to 4 from the Thunderbreak region. So he has to deal with both.
Right. He also has monsters for the Stormbreath available next turn. So
this looks like
this is pretty cool.
I don't know much about Magic, but this could be game. I mean, it depends on what Owen draws.
Yeah, I mean, Owen's got a card in hand and a draw step, which is definitely not game yet.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, he's just like, I'm going to let her go. Not going to do anything anymore. Like, he's going to have to either rely on what he has or what he draws here. And with Owen only having 1 blocker. So he's got 7 power. Eric's at 8.
In Owen's hand, looks like it's Obzone Charm and something. Maybe a Thoughtseize.
If it's Obstinate Charm, then he wins. No, he because of the... Dang it. Goblin Rabble Master probably just blocks Death Mist Raptor. It's real close, though. Like, there's no way Eric doesn't block Death Mist Raptor. Like, he's not going to take 6 and go to 2 when
no, he's got
Owen
lethal,
has things like
he's got
Siege
lethal
Rhino.
in the air, yeah. Yeah, I mean, and look at this. Even if Owen were to get rid of the Thunderbreak, which is Obzon charm, he would just be dead.
Yeah, and he takes 3 from doing it.
I think it might be a...
it's very close.
Bile Blight is the other card. Is that possible?
No, because then he'd win. He would Bile Blight the.
All right.
He would Bile Blight the Goblin Ravel Master attack for 7, and then
definitely black. He's going to go to 5 here. He's found another Elspeth and a Hero's Downfall.
But you don't have the mana for
and that other card was a Thoughtseize. Wow.
So close, yet so far.
But he's still alive, right?
No, I don't think so. How does he deal with both the dragons?
He only needs to kill 1.
But by killing, he takes 3.
No, he kills Storm Breath.
He still takes 3. Thunderbreak is whenever you target a dragon.
Sorry, Frank.
Yeah,
yeah. I've totally forgot.
No, I mean that's why it's so good,
My bad.
Right?
Yeah, totally. And that's going to be it. So that was the only question, is just if Ifro was going to block, and he snapped it off, and that would do it.
Thunderbreak helps his bros out. He's like, "Hey man, I got you."
That was a sweet game.
That was a good game.
Let's jump over and check in on our undefeated players. There's only 2 left in the field.
Also like seeing Mardu, actually.
Simon Harnden, who's shuffling.
And Paulo, who's
shuffling. What is going on with this thing? Everybody's always... Yeah.
The matches are synced so perfectly.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Every time one match ends, the other match is also ending or beginning. Like, it's just crazy. It's like they're timing it. But if you guys are looking to pick up any Magic cards that you've seen this weekend, or you're just looking to add to your F&M decks, head on over to TCGPlayer and take advantage of TCGPlayer Direct. TCGPlayer sells from hundreds of vendors, and you get to choose which cards you want and who you want to buy from, but TCGPlayer Direct allows you to receive all those cards in one convenient package with free shipping and TCGPlayer certified grading. So head on over and order some cards.
It's a sweet deal.
Yeah, TCGPlayer Direct is pretty sweet. Like, basically, we have hundreds of vendors, right? Like, you can go on TCGPlayer, pick what store you want to buy from, and if you bought from like 4 different stores, you would get 4 different packages, right? So maybe you'll get 1 in 2 days, 1 in 5 days, maybe one will get delayed a little bit. But with TCGPlayer Direct, as long as you're buying from TCGPlayer Direct sellers, you just get 1 package from us. So it's super convenient. You're still getting the prices that those vendors are offering, but you're getting the convenience of getting it from TCGPlayer. Along with, like, we have a team of grading specialists that take a look at the cards, make sure they're in the condition you're buying. So, just a super great program.
All right, so Ifro takes down the first one.
Yeah. In a close game, like, Ifro was at 8. Owen has 7 power on board and a way to kill Eric's 1 creature that was left untapped. If he had 8 power, we would have been a different game.
So this other matchup we're looking at here is Paulo on the right-hand side. That's Paulo Vitor Rosa, that Paulo. He is currently undefeated.
Which one?
And he's playing against Simon Harnden on the left, who's our only other undefeated player.
Abzan versus Esper has been like the story of the weekend, basically. Like, everyone's just... It's either an Abzan deck or an Esper deck that has been performing well, it seems like. That's why it's nice to see the Eric Froelich Mardu deck, because I'm a big fan of Mardu myself with Crackling Doom and all the dragons.
Crackling Doom is a big draw. I mean, it's a reason to play the deck,
card,
right?
Yeah. Like, you know what Hexproof does against Crackling Doom? Nothing. Josh asked, what about Indestructible? Nothing.
You guys are quite the 1-2 punch with that.
I had a creature with Shroud once. You know what that did against Crackling Doom?
You can't ask yourself.
Nothing. It did nothing, Marshall.
This isn't working. And of course, Josh is just encouraging you over there.
You know what I'm going to do about these Crackling Doom jokes? Nothing. So I feel like...
So this is the last round, right?
I feel like Simon is in a pretty good position here. Yes, this is the last round.
Okay, I was just double checking, apropos of nothing.
Well said.
Yeah, no, I agree. He's absolutely crushing right now, though we've seen that it can swing back pretty hard. Why don't we jump back over to our main match, which is just underway. That first game was really interesting.
Owen Turtenwald on your right versus Eric Froelich on your left. How do you feel about these Tri-lands? When these Tri-lands were spoiled in cons, did you think they were going to see a lot of play?
No, I admit I fell for the trap of thinking that they would be similar to the old Tri-lands. in which they saw just a little bit of play in Standard.
Like Jungle Shrine and...
Yeah, I just failed to remember that back then there were a lot more options for mana fixing in Standard, and now...
Because I think that was the same form with like Vivid Lands.
They're in Vivid Lands, yeah. And so nowadays, these tri-lands are just fantastic for... I mean, they just solve all your problems.
Oh, they do, definitely.
I mean,
and it's like...
the battlefield tapped is rough, but...
It is, but it's like the land you always want to play on turn 1.
Always.
It lets you play your cards like Fleeceman Lions, Rakshasa Death Dealers.
Yeah, it didn't take me long to come around to the tri-land side of the equation.
Same thing with
Skylands. Oh, no, this is bad for Owen. He misses a land drop and has to just play a Den Protector face up, and the blood's in the water now for Eric Froelich.
I'm going to be honest with you, Marshall. I don't think I've ever cast a Den Protector for 2 mana.
Well...
Some people are not as fortunate as
It's not that you want to, you know.
Sometimes you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, you just must on occasion.
And Owen's like, you know what? You play those 2 lands, I'm going to be reading these bones over here.
All right, well, let's see if Owen can peel a land here, because if he can, I think he can get back on track.
You ever read a bone before?
He did. I've never read a bone.
You should do it. Let's try it. We'll go read some bones after this.
I think it's going to be nap time after this.
Couple of bone bros.
What time is it? 5:30?
It's not even that. Yeah, it's like...
What does it feel like? It's 10 o'clock.
And it's funny because we're from the same time zone. So
yeah.
It's not like we went 3 hours ahead.
I have no excuse. Other than staying up too late last night drafting.
That's a likely story. That doesn't seem like the first time you've done that, though. So what's Owen's...
I won.
Oh, yeah, that's the good thing. Then it was all worth it. You're like, well, I'm vindicated, so...
Yeah, so what's step 1 here for Owen? He managed to get a reprieve there because...
That's a good...
That's not bad at all, because not only...
And he knows another land's coming.
Did he miss a land drop and potentially could fall hugely behind, but Eric played Read the Bones that turn, so it didn't actually directly affect the board.
It was, it's like, you know what, I'll give you a little break. I'll read these bones. I see a Kolagon in Eric's hand.
I do too. I think he's just going to cast it.
Casting that,
dude. He's going to start lining up some serious beatdown.
Kolagon gives all your attacking creatures +1/+0, which is real sweet. He's got another Kolagon in hand. 2 Coca-Colagons.
Wow, so Owen Turnwald really has drawn himself nicely out of this mana situation. He's managed to hit one off of the Courser and even have a backup in his hand.
Yeah, and the backup is nice because it can, if he needs another one, he can shuffle away. It gives him an extra look at another card.
And this is just a nice sequence too. He gets to Abzan Charm away Kolagon and Rumble for 4.
This is not how I saw this game going.
No, I mean if he missed one extra land drop, I think this game would be just about done.
Yeah, he caught up just in time.
Yeah, he caught up just in time.
That you can tell that 2-mana Den Protector was a desperate move, but it worked out. So.
Well, and now Eric's the one who's just rumbling here. He's got him on a 4-turn clock, but they're actually in a pretty tight race here when you look at it. Interesting. Eric's got Anger of the Gods in his hand. I think he's kind of hoping that Owen will play another threat on the ground.
The Kolagon is just... It seems very aggressive. Just Kolagon attack, bounce back to the hand.
Oh, it's aggressive. Sending a signal.
Yep, gain a life. He's like, I do not want this Satyr Wayfinder here. What land do you get here, I wonder? Oh, just the plains. Oh, he said forest. I can actually hear the shuffling behind me.
Well, they're not that far away from us.
Yeah. Just hope they don't hear us. We haven't gotten any word that they would though.
No,
so.
but we've been... I've been intentionally keeping it.
Yeah, I don't think
you're not a super loud guy, so
I don't think we're screaming by any means.
No, but sometimes exciting things happen.
Yeah, but then we get quietly excited.
It's true. There's a reason for that.
Yeah, it's definitely deliberate. He's got a Wingmate Rock in hand.
Yeah,
he
does. If he just jams with both of these and plays Wingmate Rock, he's going to be in good shape. I think he's obviously got to worry about Eric though having a sweeper effect, like a
Crux of Fate or like a End Hostilities
or something.
Either one does the job.
And it's not unlikely that he has those either, especially after dashing out the Kolagon. He could easily be setting up some type of a sweeper.
The only sweeper in Eric's deck is one Crux of Fate in the sideboard, though.
This is sweet. Owen Turnwald just says, I do not care. Wingmate Rock, your move. So he's basically just saying, Eric, I'm calling. If you got it, fair enough.
Yeah. He did not. Wow, after getting stuck on 2 lands for a turn. Well, that's the way the Wingmate Rock rumbles.
Wow, that was insane.
I mean, Magic is a real weird game sometimes. Anything can happen. Look at all of those Rashads. See, you know, when we left, I thought Simon was in a good position. Now it seems like it's Paolo with 6 Rashads, a Silumgar.
I'll tell you what, Frank. Welcome to watching Paolo play Magic. So it's like,
he's losing.
It looks like he's a little
until
behind.
He's winning.
And then it's like, how did he do that? And now all of a sudden he's way ahead, and it looks like he just can never lose.
Yeah, Siege Rhino on the top again, and a Siege Rhino in hand, and a Siege Rhino in the graveyard. See what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
That's 3 Siege Rhinos. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 3 Siege Rhinos out of 16 cards. That is not statistically likely. There, look at that guy. Boom. Scoring you, bro. And he's got can't get it back. He's got the Den Protector on board flipped up. Ashiok is a heck of a dude. So that second Siege Rhino will not see play either, but Paolo now has the option to play that guy. Duress. It's always sad when the opponent has Ashiok out and you have a good card on the top of your library. You're like, well, see you later, good card.
That is one thing that Ashiok can do.
There's also times when, like, there's a land on top, and, you know, after they've played a land, and then you just don't Ashiok that turn and just make them draw it.
So Duress is going to see a Dissolve and a Hero's Downfall. There was also a Dragonlord Ojutai that, and a land that he can't take. So he's got to decide between these 2 options. Yeah, if he's got something sweet in his hand, he can take the Dissolve and go for it.
Yeah, I feel like I would just take the Dissolve. Like, creatures nowadays, you want it, like, just resolving them is more powerful than not resolving them. So, like, having them killed is better than getting them countered. Like, I would much rather kill my Den Protector than counter it, or I'd much rather kill my Siege Rhino than counter it. So,
right,
definitely makes a difference.
Speaking of Den Protectors.
Yep, that's a very convenient card.
Looks like what he's got face down there. So like you said, Paolo can play the Siege Rhino off of Ashiok, or just keep plussing.
I mean, plussing is not a bad idea. Like, it's just a fine strategy. Like, Ashiok's definitely pulled some games through for me just by milling them, or, you know, it's 4 cards a turn. It adds up. Okay, it looks like there's some mulliganing going on our first match.
So we'll just stick here for the moment.
Is Paolo going to be the 7-0 player of the event?
I mean, in the dark, yeah.
I mean, it seems like a pretty good chance of it.
Yeah, alright, he does play the Siege Rhino off of Ashiok.
Okay, so it looks like if that life bet is correct, Paolo's at 22, his opponent's at 3.
It's a 9.
Is that a 9? It looks like it was a 6.
It was a 6 going to a 9, so that's Paolo's life total.
You're right, and the other one's 22. Okay, so it was the opposite.
Yeah, Paolo writes like kind of European 9s with the little
swoop
hanger down there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Paolo's at 9. That's much different. I thought I was like, he could just swing with Ojutai, or with Silumgar here. Okay, so he has an Ojutai, a Siege Rhino, and a Silumgar in hand in play right now.
Yeah, and an Ashiok.
And an Ashiok. Like, that's pretty good.
6 tokens, too. They're Rashad tokens, nonetheless.
6 Spartan warriors, soldiers. Alright, we're going to head back to Eric Froelich and Owen Turtenwald here. It looks like they're ready to go.
Yeah, this is sweet. We get a game 3 against these 2 titans of the game.
Alright, so both, like we were talking about earlier, both let off on their respective tri-lands. The most ideal possible.
Hi.
How you doing? Seagarth is actually a pretty aggressive guy. Like, if you can get him down on turn 2 on the play, like, usually you can just deal with whatever they play, gain some life. Deal with whatever they play, gain some life.
And it's going to be Thoughtseize here to kick things off for Owen Turtenwald.
Ooh, that's a...
Wow, sees only one viable option.
Nice. That Rabble Master's going to the Grumper. And you got 4 lands for Eric. Jeez. Not ideal. Remember that strategy about dealing with their things and then gaining some life? Not happening here. And then Owen gets the scry. Oh god, I want the Mardu deck to win. I don't necessarily have any favorite as far as player here, but that's a Stormbreath Dragon, it looks like.
It was. Scry lands are going to help find him more action.
Yeah, any land just gets immediately shipped to the bottom, I imagine.
And there's a Deathmist Raptor face up for Turtenwald, passes his turn back, so that's going to do a good job of nullifying the Seeker.
Not great, but he plays a land this turn, a Rabble Master. Next turn he gets a Stormbreath Dragon, which is... it's a threat. He also has Haven of the Spirit Dragon in his hand. Or rather in play, should I say, because he played it right now. Luck. Deal.
Let's set up Stormbreath Dragon for next turn.
Yeah, I mean, it's not terrible.
And he's put Owen in a position where he can't realistically...
Wingmate Rock. So Owen has a Windswept Heath here that he could crack if he wanted to, but I imagine you probably just want to keep Wingmate Rock if you have another land in your hand. Yep, just passes. And Battlefield Forge for Eric and a Stormbreath Dragon that we knew was coming. Oh, Goblin's got to get in there and then Stormbreath Dragon, yeah. Stormbreath Dragon's a heck of a clock. That's a real thing.
Oh yeah, that's a big time beater. I mean, now, the good news for Owen is that he does play...
Owen jokingly double blocks it.
Is that Owen does play Hero's Downfall in his deck, so he does have outs to Stormbreath. There are some decks that have a really hard time dealing with it, and Owen's is one. I mean, you know, his Obzon Charms don't get any work done here.
Yeah, they do not target that guy.
Yeah, Murderous Cut would get the job done.
Unfortunately, well, even a Wingmate Rock doesn't block a Stormbreath Dragon.
It just can't. Just can't. Yeah, Stormbreath, you know, goes from being quite well positioned to incredibly well positioned, depending on how the format's looking at the time. It seems to always be in a good position, but you know, as far as removal matchups go, especially just because of Obzon Charm specifically, which is such a flexible tool for these Obzon decks to use. But the Stormbreath Dragon's the counterpunch to that. Come on.
Yeah, I think he's just triggering the raid here. Gonna actually Wingmate Rock it up. Wingmate Rock and roll.
Alright, well, that's a strong play here. It's not going to do much with the Stormbreath, but it could put potentially a race back.
Yeah, and like if you're gaining 4 a turn from Wingmate Rock, the two rocks, the Courser and the Deathmist Raptor, it's pretty good.
Yeah, Owen does find himself a little bit behind in this race already.
Any removal spell for Eric, and you can take care of the bird. Does he have an Outpost Siege in hand?
That could be. This can get pretty grindy.
Yeah, he's got 2 in the sideboard. I imagine he brought them in. Owen doesn't really have a way to answer an Outpost Siege, and it's just incremental card advantage each turn. Oof. Oh, that's
2 birds and 2 dragons here for Eric Froelich.
2 birds and 1 stone.
And he's going to rumble with both of them and put
8.
Owen on not quite a 2-turn clock, though probably ends up being one after Monstrous. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He needs
also,
1 more mana.
Or if he draws anything like Crackling Doom, like...
Yeah, Owen just needs to attack with 3 things.
Owen's going to gain 4, go to 8? Or go to 10,
well,
rather?
I don't know if he can attack with everything here, if he can afford it.
You can't block the flyers, though.
No, I know, but Rabble
guys.
Master getting
That's
in there
true.
for a bunch of extra 2 could be bad. Yeah, this is a bad spot for Owen.
Just goes to show you, Stormbreath Dragon is still a respectable dude. What do you like better, Thundermaw Hellkite or Stormbreath Dragon?
Oh, Thundermaw Hellkite.
Yeah?
Oh yeah, I like that guy.
Well, he's going to gain 2 from a land here, which is pretty good.
Okay, that helps. That gets him up to even money against the
Satyr Wayfinder's not really what you want to see there.
Still needing to attack with at least a few things here. He's got so many cards stuck in his hand.
You probably just attack with 2 birds, right?
2 birds puts him to 10. I think that
I'm gonna go to 11
puts
here.
him dead, assuming that Ifro has that last land. So he's going to have to attack with more, but like I said, the more he attacks with, the more he's going to take on the crackback too.
This lets the 2 2/2s come in too, so...
Yeah, it's a tough spot for Owen.
So he gains 3, goes to 11. He's at a virtual 3 because I don't think Owen has a way to deal with the 2 Stormbreath Dragons. So how many cards does Owen have? If Eric has a land, he's at 3 cards?
I think Owen's on 3.
He's just dead to double Stormbreath if he has a land, right?
Yep.
Jeez.
Just dead. And we saw that Eric had a very land-heavy hand to start this game off.
Yeah, but, I mean, when you have 2 Stormbreath Dragons and they can be monstrous, like, it seems to pay off. It's like, oh, Jarek have a land and he's just slow rolling it. Oh, land, okay, kill you. Interesting. I wonder what he's... I don't know what the cards in his hand are, but... Okay, so that was Outpost Siege that we saw earlier.
Does that mean that he just gets to attack with everything now if he names...
Is it just... Yeah, it's just worth calling dragons
Dragons
now?
here?
Because his 2 creatures would die. His 2 2/2s would be blocked by the coursers, so they would die. Owen would go to 9. The 1 goblin and the 2 Stormbreaths would get in, and that would be 9.
Yeah, but what about if, like, he has to consider if Owen has a removal spell here, right?
Yeah, then he dies.
A Murderous Cut or a Hero's Downfall could really mess this plan up.
Yeah, so I think this is just like Eric has to decide whether it's worth it or not.
Because the other option that Eric has is he can just say go, and the Stormbreaths just basically block the wingmates. Yeah, no, I mean, I don't love it. I'm just saying...
He could also swing in with 1
He has to consider each of these options.
And like the thing about Eric is an amazing poker player, and like so he's probably able to calculate these odds and figure out like, you know, what are the odds he has this, what are the odds he has that, what are the odds I can win next turn if I do this, you know. So I definitely have faith that Eric could make the right decision here, which is probably why he's so successful as a Magic player.
Yeah, this is why he's the best. So I'm assuming that the Outpost Siege goes on the stack here. He did name dragons. Okay.
Is dragons the damage or the card drawing?
It's the damage.
Yeah, it seems like when Owen's at 11 with 2 Stormbreath Dragons on board, it's yeah, whenever a creature you control leaves the battlefield, Outpost Siege does 1 damage to a creature or player of your choice.
And he's just going to attack with everything here. I think Owen might have a Murderous Cut. Is that possible?
Maybe.
Let's
it's
take
not
a look
impossible.
at his... Yeah, he's got 1 in his whole 75.
That could be it.
And I think he's got it in his hand.
I think Owen wins the match if that's true. Yeah, Owen definitely wins if that's true. Block. Block.
Block.
He takes 9.
2.
This seems, I mean, Eric has 2 2 mana up, two lands up. If you're wrong, I feel like he's tanking way too much to have the Murderous Cut, right? Like,
no, he needs to figure out the next turn and how it actually goes from here. So,
well, if he has the Murderous Cut, he just attacks for 6 and a Death Mist Raptor. Eric has no creatures untapped, and both his coursers are still alive. So like, this is academic for Owen.
Well, Eric does have 2 mana available, and
yeah,
remember the Seeker of the Way could gain life here.
Yeah, but if you don't Murderous Cut, you die, right?
You take 8, 9, 10, 11, yes, as it sits.
Yeah. He played Outpost Siege, and he gains 3 life. That's
right, so he's
humongous.
already gaining the 3 life.
Yeah, so that's pretty good, actually. Yeah, Eric would go to 10 this turn.
This is just insane. This is super, super close. PV wins 2-0 on the back table.
No, so PV is undefeated today at 7-0. Apparently he's pretty good at Magic. That's what they tell me. Oh, this is interesting. It puts Owen to 1 instead of killing him.
This is just a sick game.
The Seeker of the Way had to actually die for Owen to lose. The Seeker must die. Eric's like, wait a minute.
Can he not do it?
I don't know. I think that... Yeah, Eric didn't mention the trigger, so...
Yes, but can you not is the question. We know you don't have to mention it until damage goes. The question is, can you just say, you can't forget it? Rashad says you're not allowed to just forget it. All right, so that's going to happen either way. Yeah, so that's not going to work.
Interesting. This is a very convoluted board.
This is a sweet game.
The way they both looked at it, it makes me think Eric missed it too. Like Eric just didn't realize that it was a 3/3.
I doubt that.
Well, they both read the card, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and Eric would made this attack thinking that it would bring Owen to 0. At least that's what I would think. Well, you can ask him when you guys record Constructed Resources.
Yeah, I'll ask him.
This is like the penultimate. This is like maybe even the ultimate turn right here of this game. Like, depending on what happens. I can see Owen getting like a caution here. It's tough. It's a tough play, but jeez. He's like, I think that's it. He's like, those are blocks. So he takes 9. Rabble Master can shoot him for 1, or he can use the Rabble Master to shoot the Courser that took 3. Eric is dead on board now.
When you finish your match, if you have any that you have locked with tomorrow's play, report time for tomorrow's event is 10 a.m. A little bit of sleep in there. 10 a.m. is day 2 of the player invitation. Will be at 10 a.m. If you're looking for the player gold event, that's 10 a.m.
Yeah, this is a real confusing, like, this is an interesting situation. Right.
Alright, so Courser Crewfix hits the bin. Yeah, that turn was what? 7 minutes? Super complicated turn.
Yeah, unless... I could see if Eric has like a Draconic... No, there's no way Eric has Draconic where he just kills him, right? I imagine Eric's dead here. Unless his hand is like ultimate price.
Not impossible.
Wow, this game was so close. I think Eric actually played Outpost Siege on Dragons. Oh,
yeah, that's
wow.
it. Owen Turtenwald turns his guy sideways, and that's going to do it. Owen's going to improve to 5-2. And they're both having